physical and human perspective.
Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. I'm Shane, and I'm joined with my guest today, Michelle Wolfe. How are you doing today, Michelle?
Happy
Energized?
Tuesday. Happy
Yeah.
Tuesday. Yes, very energized. Big day, I think, for, I think starting over the weekend with definitely new energies coming in and a lot of us purging out. I think that purging out is making space for the new stuff as well. So it's been pretty intense for me, that's for sure. But a lot to do with my QHHT session I had last
Yes,
week has really thrown me for quite the energetic loop.
yeah, we definitely want to hear the details about that because I know a lot of people that haven't done it are definitely wanting to do it and they want to hear what it was like and everything. So we definitely want to get into all of that. I do have a couple of quick announcements if I can find my phone. I was just reminded because Debbie Hazelton is in the chat, and we are going to have Debbie on Thursday. We're going to have
Awesome.
Dark Wolf on tomorrow. And if you guys haven't marked your calendar already, 2 weeks from this past Sunday, just under 2 weeks on Sunday, I'm going to be on the Twin Flame radio show. It's actually, the information is below. So you guys, if you want to join with the Twin Flame Divine Fire or Truth Frequency Radio, it's with Alan and Sandra. It's going to be 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific time or 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern time, which would be your time and Josee's time. So lots of love and light to everyone in the chat. Let's get right into this because I am super excited about this whole QHHT session. Now, it was with someone that a lot of people may know because it was
Transformotion, Michael Garber.
Transformation. Yeah, I always know it's a real
An
clever
angel
name.
on this earth. Mm-hmm.
It's a real clever name, and I'm always like, what was it again? It's something clever. So okay,
Yes.
he had
Yeah.
the video about the eye, like back in February, that a lot of us saw. That video went viral, and that's when I was first introduced to Michael. And so yeah, so a lot of people will already know who he is. And so tell us what the experience was like. I mean, not
Yeah.
only was the information awesome, but just the feeling and the energy of the whole thing. Let's start with how
Well,
long it took. How
Well,
long did
yeah, actually, you know what? What I would love to start with is just in bringing up Michael to say how truly amazing and gifted and beautiful and loving he is. So, to start, if you haven't subscribed to his channel, go subscribe. They do put energy updates, which are so accurate and so intuitive and so just just right on it. Uh, and they use a variety of information, whether it be the QHHT sessions that they do, and also the intuitive guidance that they receive as well. And both Ron and Michael are just so nice to listen to because they're just so calm and loving and just gentle, generous souls that it's just a nice place to tune in. So I really would recommend that. They have Facebook as well. I think he typically posts a lot of his energy readings on there, and then we'll move it to YouTube. So, and then if you haven't had a QHHT session with him, then I can't recommend him enough. It was my first experience, and I was certainly excited, and I knew it would be different. And I knew it would be more than what I expected, but I still did not expect to be as completely overwhelmed as I was, both by the information and equally by the physical um, experience itself of the energies, what was done, what I've experienced since then. Has been just as important, really, as the information that came through. So, so
he
where?
also
Sorry, you
does
want?
BQH as well, right? Just to clarify that.
Sorry, what was that?
He also does BQH, Beyond Quantum Healing, so you don't have to visit him in person. He can actually do distance.
Oh, that's what we did. Yes. Yes, that's
Okay.
what we did. And on like it was great. I've worked with headphones doing meditative work and hypnosis work, and am very comfortable with it. So I think it worked, very well for us. It's a very easy state for me to get to very quickly because the meditation I do every day, and because I've just been so used to doing it, and I visually have worked that way my whole life. So I think it was an easy realm for me to slip into and explore, and that's definitely what it was. It was just this big exploration into so much. I think what really got me was when I came out of it, like I told you, I thought I remembered everything. I really did. Friend asked, did you remember? Oh yeah, I remember everything. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized, no, I didn't. I did not remember everything. And what really stunned me listening to it after, it was the next day that I actually got to hear it through again and hear, what it was I did miss. The amount of detail um, that I went into was really quite amazing. And I think any initial sort of feeling that, maybe this was something that my mind could have made up was really erased by hearing the large chunks of knowing that were coming in, and it's what's really helpful. So everybody knows is Shane is really one of only two people that have listened to the recording for me. So he fortunately has heard the whole thing, and can relate to what I'm describing, maybe more than you guys do. So Shane, anything you want to chime in and help me out with, because this one really leaves me for a loss of words in how to describe the experience. But what I noticed was these large knowing. It wasn't just like one picture. There was a large amount of information that came in very quickly. So a question would be asked, and you'd hear sort of this, inhale of breath and sort of taking the question in, and then it would just go. But what was really interesting was about halfway through the entire session, and it makes me woozy just thinking about it. I start getting activated physically again, like I did in the session. When I start thinking or even talking about what happened, I actually start getting the physical experience again. But it was about halfway through the experience, after going through two past lives and passing through to the other side. I met some guides, and then lo and behold, I met Jesus. And after the session, before hearing it, I it took me a bit I didn't remember right away that I met Jesus, but when I did remember, I realized that I didn't remember what he said, and I didn't remember what happened afterwards. But what happened after hearing it was that he told me some very beautiful things, which was that he was in here, always in here. And he gave me a gift, and that gift was an activation. And that is, what I do remember is the intensity of the physical feelings of what I was experiencing from really, most especially that point going forward. The physical experience of it was overwhelming. It really was. And it's hard to find words to explain it. I could feel when I was having work done by the angels, and they said they were working on my stomach, intestines, kidneys, like all in this area, which I think is exactly what a lot of people are getting cleared right now with the purging. This is a lot of stomach issues. So I was also, really informed that the timing of this was pivotal as to the energy that's coming in. So this work all getting done here, I think is an important stage for everybody right now, whether they had a hypnosis session or not. But I certainly could feel the things being moved around. It felt like this weight, like everything was rolling through me and moving through me in this vibrational wave motion inside me. Like I've never had a feeling like that in my life. It did feel like somebody had their hands in there moving stuff around, but no pain. It was a very unusual feeling. So I can't deny that. And I can't deny the extent of the energy that I continue to experience from really that work. And then they opened and activated everything inside me, dormant chakras that haven't been used for many, thousands of years, I believe. Um, it just activated everything. And so working with that and taking all that in since this happened has been a lot. It's really I feel great. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm like, woo! I'm happy. I'm excited. I feel good. Like, I definitely feel a much even deeper sense of an opening of my heart chakra and just this loving energy and excited, wonderful feeling that is vibrating at a level it never has before. But it's things are different. Things are different, and it's adjusting to these differences that are very strange. Yeah.
Well, like I was saying off air, one of the things that I liked a lot about it is the common thread with your past lives. How you always had, even though they were completely different, you always had like sort of this creative part of you, whether it was like the one life you like made clothing and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then like in this current life you're in now, the way you're an artist, and there was just always
Mm-hmm.
this creativeness about your different that's just so cool because we
Yeah.
see these different lives, and then to see this common thread of what is really you outside of this physical vessel, as an Indian told me to call it, instead of a meat
Yeah.
suit. I guess that's offensive to some people who call it a meat suit, but this physical vessel,
Yeah.
to see this common thread of who you really are that travels through each of these lifetimes. And that is just so awesome. Plus, you had some validation on what we term the event, and the whole thing with the 9 months of gestation
Yeah.
and the water and all that. People are like, "Let's hear the details." So they're like,
You have to
"So
give me specific questions, guys, because it's like it's such a big chunk of information for me. It's almost it's still like trying to grab the fishes out of the stream, and so excuse me if I sort of ramble all like over about it, because I'm still really processing a lot of it myself, and it's so much to take in. So I absolutely want to answer questions, but bear with me, be specific, and bear with me if I go off topic. I'm bad enough as it is at that. But yeah, like what I wanted to say about the like the different, well, it was still me. It
right."
was still me in those lives, and I still felt um, me in there. It wasn't, being a different person. You could have different, but it was still me. And yeah, I did like to be away from people. Like I was detached from people in both instances, and okay with it. And I was different, and I worked with energy, and I worked with intuition, and yes, I was creative, um, and I liked a simple life too. I think in both, right, without too many attachments to other things and people. So that
Well,
was
we talked
definitely.
we
Hmm.
talked about in the previous Tuesdays we've talked about sort of this idea of like birthing a new uh, earth, or like going through the three trimesters and all of that, and the water, which I thought was so cool because
Hmm.
Lori Lothian was talking about the water in her interview yesterday, and I kept thinking about you when she was
And I
talking
watched
about
it, and I was thinking about me.
that.
I was watching, going, oh my
Yeah,
gosh, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, like thank goodness you listened to my recording,
yeah,
because I'm like, who do you share all this with? And who's got the patience to listen to almost 3 hours worth of stuff for one? And but it's just so much, so yeah, it's like stuff like that I'm picking up and hearing other people's things now, and it still ties into what happened and what I was talking about. So thank goodness I have you to sort of validate and remember as well for me right
Right.
now that, yeah, those things are coming up. Like everything is just right on cue, with everybody else that I'm tuning in with too. You know, from Aluna Ash to Leanna, and just all these different people, all our different sources, and the all the messages, the information that I get to from all of you that email. And sorry, on that note, I have to say I'm because I was just so overwhelmed with everything. I couldn't even read an email. Like I couldn't get through the email. I was just too distracted. So I've started to try to answer. So please forgive me. I usually try to answer a little quicker than I have lately, but I will respond to all your emails. Please don't think I have forgotten or that I have. I've read them all now, so it's just a process of
It's
replying to
hard to
them.
keep
So
up, isn't it?
I couldn't process anything. I just couldn't even process it.
Oh, I
Yeah.
understand. Barbara wants to know, what did Jesus look like? Do you remember?
Mm, yeah, like a long, like, well, I knew it was Jesus. Brown hair, and it wasn't, sometimes it's more the feeling. Like, what's amazing, kind of what amazed me is I felt like when I remembered it afterwards that it was just a bunch of pictures that I was describing. But what I realized after when listening to it, that no, it was not. It was blocks of knowledge that didn't even have pictures behind it, which I'm not used to.
I
So,
totally understand that, and I can
do you?
validate what you're saying because I've gotten information like that about these two beings on each side of me, and they were guiding me with their hand under my arms, like not like making me go anywhere, but protecting me. If I were to
Mm-hmm.
trip, they would be there to hold me up
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. And I never like really saw them. It's like this knowing of them knowing, and I know how much bigger than me they were. It's
Yeah.
weird that you can know it, and that I can know they were sort of angelic light beings, but I didn't really see them. It was just a knowing, and it was strange because I'm a very visual person. So if it was something to see, I would have saw it, but it was a block of information that came to me,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's strange.
Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
telepathy is probably going to be like that. Instead of we imagine it words or pictures, but
But it's
really
not
it's a
anymore.
knowing. It's
Yeah, that you actually feel. You actually physically feel the knowledge that you have. And
yeah,
that's how you find the truth of it. You pull out that feeling, and it within that feeling contains blocks of information. And then you have to find the words to translate it.
right.
So, but it's funny when so you talk about the two guides, and so I did have, but just before Jesus coming through, and so I think with the picture of Jesus, it was very much an atypical. He did have a longer nose, longer face, um, not so much the beatific Jesus picture, but a very loving, gentle, patient face that certainly resembled Jesus, but maybe a little more thinner and longer in the nose, but the typical robe. And I just knew it was Jesus.
And
Uh, you know,
do you think because this is somewhere where where if I had to describe something of one of these knowings, or it would be similar to the way you had to sort of put into words what you were knowing. I don't want to even say seeing. You were and just the way you're describing Jesus, could it be that you knew it was Jesus in your mind sort of created the look for Jesus that you had for him? I mean,
who
because
knows?
is it like the words, because you're sort of putting into words the knowing that's coming to you at that time.
Well,
So
I
it's
think
sort of the way
I
we
think it
translate it.
shows. I think it uses our own information from our head, like it uses all that information,
Yeah, I
right?
think
It
so too.
uses our words, it uses our visuals, it uses all of that to communicate to us. So yes, absolutely, I do believe it is taking my representation. It's energy. In
Right,
essence, no matter what the actual truth reality is of Jesus, well, there could be multiple realities to that anyways. And it really, but really what it is a Christ consciousness energy. So is it going to pull a representation of that from my experience? Yes, I believe so. What is the true picture of Jesus? Well, that is true to each person.
right,
So I think it's going to pull your own truth, but the energy is still the energy, and it's going to, I think, show itself to you in a way that is best for you. I think, and using your own, pictures as well. But yeah, like like when you talked about the two guides on, I got that too. I got the two guides. The one on my right is Artemis. Where do you get the name Artemis? But honestly, as soon as it was like Artemis, like I could see the letters. I'm like, I've never used that name in my life, and it was immediate. And I knew he was on my right, and I knew he was, but I never saw him
Right.
in detail, his face. I could see pieces of things, but I didn't see the whole picture. But it was a block of knowing. It was
Yeah.
his personality. It was, the shape and sort of, yeah, it was how he represented, himself. And then I had Joshua on the other side, which was a completely different physical appearance, but still did not show itself to me in an exact. I was not just describing what I was seeing anymore, which is different for me. I was describing this block of knowledge. Yeah,
That's
as to
amazing.
this
Yeah, because you're
person.
an artist too, so you're more of a visual person like me. So it is a
Yeah.
strange experience.
Yeah. Like once I tuned into one thing, I could get very in depth about it. And I certainly did. I mean, you heard the amount of detail I went into for describing stuff. Like it gets very specific and detailed in some points, which is also very interesting to get.
Yeah.
So like once I would tune into something or some physical thing that I wanted to look at, well then it would get very, very clear. But
Right.
until you actually focused in on that specific thing, it could be, it's dreamlike. It is for sure dreamlike. People asked that before. Do you think? I think you may have asked. Do you think what you would see in a QHHT session or hypnosis session is, like how you see things in dreams? And I would say yes. Yeah, it is. But you can tune in more specifically to what it is you want to. Like you can stop the dream zone, and zone in where you want. So that's the neat thing about it too.
That sounds good. Yeah, they were talking about meat suits and show. I just glanced out looking for a question. They're like, meat suit sounds gross. Reminds me of Lady Gaga.
Yeah, we're not dinner.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, well, I guess it sounds like I'm putting down the flesh like it's not important. It's like our astronaut suit. So it's, if you're in space without your, whoops, sorry,
Well,
another
I always like the
earthquake.
Avatar idea, too,
Yeah,
like with the movie, and I think that why it's stuck such a, struck such a chord with us. So, I think it's a very interesting idea, and it's certainly kind of, as I got into a lot of the descriptions about like who I was in a higher self form, or
hmm,
galactically, it certainly seemed to me that it was just, like popping myself in different, oh, I'm going to try a life over, over here in this form and try a life over here in this form. But when it came to this situation, this was definitely a mission set out by um, certain people, such as myself, to be, and that's where I could really visually see it too, as far as bringing in the new Earth energy, and as far as our role in that was really an accelerator and a grounder and this conduit, and I could really see it much larger. It was actually less dots than I expected, but they weren't dots, they were pegs. Like they were big shafts of crystal, diamond, like um, light that were staked in a grid, but a much stronger grid than sort of the weave that I was seeing before. I think there's multiple layers, but I think what I was receiving was the ones that were like my energy, or the same, like what our role
right,
was in this in this framework, and that what it allowed it to do was really allowed the difference in vibration from, sorry, the Christ consciousness to the 3D vibration, here. There had to be a conduit for that, because it would be too much. It would be too much, the Christ consciousness vibration at too much of a higher level to be able to just come in. There really needed to be something implanted and then staked down also into the new Gaia, the new Earth, etherically, into that as well, So by that, and then the Christ consciousness being able to plug in, and the pegs being in to amplify, to stabilize, um, and to send that energy out through the consciousness, but also pivotal in pulling up the energy of the new Gaia up, where I really saw what I think what we're really going to start to see now is the old 3D Earth, like this shell over top that is literally dried, hardened, and cracking now, cracking in large fissures and literally cracking away, like a dried up walnut shell almost, like, and that the new Gaia being staked in with that consciousness is being birthed literally out of that old Earth. And I think that's what we're seeing with the cracking and everything going on. I think that's really going to accelerate. So
Yeah, so it's like the energy bubbling out. Someone's asking, and I remember you asking this question, but I can't remember exactly what the answer was, and it was the question about the name of your higher self. Didn't it seems like I remember him asking that, and I can't remember what the answer was. Because the guy was Artemis, wasn't it?
that was a guide, yes.
Right. Okay. So, was there an answer for the higher self?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm ready to share that one. I love you
Okay.
guys a lot.
Okay.
It was really big, and I don't want to. But
Okay.
I will
Someone
say
just
so.
asked in the chat. So,
My question too was about galactic family, right? In feeling that I knew that there was a lot of interdimensional and or extraterrestrial or extraterrestrial interdimensional above us right now, being part in what's going on. I know that because I've seen them in my dreams, and I've worked with them in my dreams, and I've worked with different groups in my dreams, but I never felt specifically tied to any one group. So I was looking for clarification on where it was I came from more specifically, and so the answer that I received with that was, it wasn't to say that I was with any one group and that I may have chosen to be one of them at one time on their planet, but it wasn't that I was from their planet. It was that I made the planet. So it was a different thing. So, yeah, that's part of the story. So the
okay.
rest of it, I'm still kind of taking in myself. So it feels a little strange. Just talking about all of that just yet. I think I'm really still absorbing some of this. Yeah.
Okay. So, what about we were talking about how you were. Okay, so in the previous weeks, Tuesdays, we've been talking about the energies, like
Mm-hmm.
activating the feet and the hands. Now, since you had the session, you were talking about walking your dog and feeling this energy in the tips of your fingers and stuff. And I thought
Yes.
that was so interesting. Can we talk about that
Yeah.
experience?
Okay. Yeah. So what I was doing with that, like, so with the hands and the feet thing, it was really important. And what this session did was complete a full opening of those energies being able to go through, and completely opened um, those chakras that were left, and portals. It just opened up everything. And it was extremely intense when that happened in the hypnosis session. I was rigid with energy. It was overwhelming, where I was already not, like, really trying to have to stay calm and focused to be able to take it in. It was a lot. And then I actually had like a really bad leg cramp even kick in, which Michael had to help me through, with the help of Archangel Raphael, which worked. But it was a lot, and that was right at the end. And so I came out of this session with my entire body completely awake and completely activated, and it was unreal. And so what I was experiencing with my hands, um, would be really the same with my feet. It's just as strong with my feet, but my hands are reacting in a way to my words, my thoughts, and my environment now. that give me signals, which is very strange. But what I experienced when coming to you was it wasn't just, we talked about the vibration in the center of the palm. I've had that for years doing the tarot cards, but this is a whole different thing. Part of the swelling, stiffness, aching that a lot of people are feeling in their arms right now. I've even had a lot of people who don't even know about the event, the wave, the ascension symptoms, nothing, talking about this right now. So I want to say that is coming up, and I think it has a lot to do with the energies coming in, what's being activated for us now. But I used to just experience the palm, but what this now does is energy goes directly up my arm and straight up my finger. It does send jolts that respond to, like I said, me, my thoughts, my environment, and it feels like a cross between an electric shock and hitting your funny bone. It doesn't hurt, but it's very strange and it jolts. But what I also very strongly experience, especially when coming to, it was, and as soon as I talk about it or think about it, it starts to happen. I literally feel on the very tip of each finger, right here, a swirling and of tickling energy. I can feel it swirling, like something's tickling the tip of my fingers, and it goes in a clockwise motion on the tips of my fingers. So I experience that. Well, when that starts to accelerate, then I'll start getting jolts as well. And I find them, I feel like since I had the session, it was overwhelming. Like that first night, I woke up the next day and I sort of felt normal at first when I woke up, and it was like, oh, maybe nothing even happened. But then as the day went on, I'd start getting these jolts. It was like it was trying to introduce it back to me, like gradually, because it's just so much. How are you going to function, right? So I've been finding over the last few days that I've had to acclimate to these sensations happening more and more, and coming back in stronger and stronger. So the experience I had, and when I went walking the dogs by the river in with the trees and everything, I take the dogs every day, um, and see, as soon as I start to talk about it, I get woozy. So I'd walk down the trail, and I was coming back, and at the end, near the end of the trail, was a group of really old trees that are all kind of grouped together. And I've looked at them and admired them before, but as I'm walking towards them, I look at them and I'm like, you know what? Beautiful old trees in my mind. And but as I went right parallel with the tree to walk by, all of a sudden my hand, that jolting shock, went boom, like through my hand twice, like really, really made me jump. It was quite a physical reaction. And so I had to stop, because now I'm buzzing all over and I'm like, okay, what was that? Well, I can't just keep walking and pretend nothing happened. Something happened. So, and I'm with my boyfriend at the time, who's getting used to these strange things. And I had to stop. And I'm like, okay, I know this is really weird. Can you just take the dog? He had one. I had to take the other dog. And I said, I know this is just going to look weird. Give me a minute. And I had to go back and touch the tree. And so I went back to the tree and I put my hand on the tree. And what I felt was, it was immediately, it did start to thrum again through my hand. But what it felt like was I could physically feel the energy moving through the tree, pulsating through like veins. Like if you were to put your hand, but really be able to feel the pulsation of blood through the veins. But with the tree, it's a much larger, it's not like just one vein, I guess. So it's a much larger feeling than just maybe feeling us with one vein here or there pumping. This was like the whole tree. I could feel the vibration of like pulsing energy like through veins. Yeah.
And you gave a really good analogy. You said it was sort of like an in between of uh, like an electric
Electric
shock
shock
and like your
and a
funny
funny
bone getting
bone.
hit. Yeah, and I thought that
Yes.
was a good analogy. Without the pain, of course, you said.
Without the pain, but it's like a, yeah, it's like an electric shock that, like, if you ever touch the plug, and you get that little right through, and it's through this finger, and it goes right through. But it's an awkward feeling that I'm not used to feeling. I think that's part of what it is. It's a funny feeling. So it feels strange.
But
And
very real and physical. That's
yeah,
the part.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've almost dropped things, because it does jolt through and it's getting more and more. And now if I just, as soon as I start to think about it or anything, but then I'm having the same experience through, so as it is my right hand, the strongest, it is through both hands and arms, but most especially through my right, then I find corresponding it's strongest through my left foot. I don't know why, but it did start a couple weeks ago when I was really, like, I have been feeling the feet for a little while. We've talked about it before where I was feeling it so strong too. Like I was having to put my feet on a cushion because it was really starting to vibrate. But this is again just kicked it up a whole other level. What I experienced when it got fully activated under hypnosis, it was like blasts of, I could feel two separate specific portals on my feet, one at the base, one up here. And it's like I felt like I had rocket blasters on my feet. Like if I were to go and put my feet on the ground, I would literally be pushed it could push me up off the ground. But it did come through in the hypnosis session that I am used to flying. I am used to levitating. I do have that ability and expect to have that ability. So, and this is part of the reason why it is so strong and active with me as well. So I think that's interesting because I've been waiting. I've been waiting for that one
Do you
because I'm
find
like,
it
I know
starts
I
at
can
the
fly.
left foot?
Left, yeah. So I have been, over the
Okay,
last
so
couple of weeks, been dealing with pain. I've been dealing with some swelling on the side of my left foot, being dealing with some jolts of pain through my legs, calf muscle pains, um, different experiences like that through that foot for sure. And when I had the complete activation, the cramping I got a calf cramp so bad I had to cry out to Michael to help me with it, which it did clear and sits. And when I came to, it was just completely open and vibrating, and the energy that was pushing through literally just felt like it's blasting. So
Lori Ann was saying how the Kundalini energy will start on the left foot or the left channel. So, and
yes.
we were already talking about levitating or walking on water anyway. So,
Yeah, and I'm
might
glad.
want to
So
try
that
that.
was that. I'm glad that she brought that up because I did want to mention this is actually one of the visuals that I have been getting again, and I haven't had this visual since I first had my experience, my Kundalini awakening with a shaman, um, over a year ago now, and where I received the Christ consciousness and a full healing, and I received the same visuals in this experience. And this was, so we've talked before about experiencing either you see pictures in your head behind your eyes, but then if you close your eyes, are you visually seeing things like having faces come out or lights or colors or different things, right? So I can see things visually two ways, in the mind's eye at the back of the head or with the eyes closed. So the experience I had with the Kundalini awakening was a very specific visualization through the experience of, with eyes closed, I literally did see the details of the serpent, and I wasn't afraid, and I hate snakes, and I was not afraid of this coming up, like almost like a cobra, this coming up in front of me, sort of thing, like this. And it was a very strong visual that I had when I had that experience. And so this has been coming up for me again over the last, like, for the few days leading before the session, during the session, and now after. And I had been thinking as well before the session, um, about this mass Kundalini awakening coming, about this mass heart chakra opening coming, I think, and more people going to experience this. So I absolutely believe that that Kundalini energy is back in with this energy that's coming in as well. So I'd be curious to see if anybody else picking up on visualizations like that. And I would say don't be afraid about the serpent thing at all. It's just just part of the energy. And for me, as afraid of snakes as I am, I really don't feel that it was anything to fear. It was just part of the experience. So I'd be curious if anybody else is picking up, but I really do think a lot of people are going to be experiencing this who may not even see it coming, don't even know what it is. So it'll be interesting.
That's awesome. So, definitely an experience that it's one of those experience. You're glad you did it, right? Of course.
Oh my gosh, you're going to do it again. Oh my goodness, yes. I'm so happy I did it. I would, and I really would. I would recommend to anybody, if you really, even want to make some more progress with this, go do it. because I think it really does in leaps and bounds. I think you can get a lot done with it. It does an incredible amount of healing, and yeah, and I'll be doing it. I'll be doing it again as soon as possible. So I will be doing a few sessions, I think, with Michael with this. It's a process that we're going to be doing over 3 to 6 months, where I really want to fine tune what my abilities are. I've already received a lot of clarification with that now, specifically about what it is I do, so I can really kind of present. So I know and can have more confidence to say, this is what I can do for others. Um, I absolutely I want to be able to help people, but I want to know specifically how it is I do that. I want the affirmation for it. I want to make sure I'm doing it right and be fully activated. And so I've had some great clarification that yes, I do heal. I do heal with my hands. I do feel energy. I do activate both with my energy, with my hands, and with my words. So I think this is very important that I'm doing this. And the group medications. I always do meditations.
Freudian slip there.
Really, really can help move the energy, help activate, and give transmissions is what I understand too. It's big with healing, transmissions, and activations. And I got a lot of clarification and affirmation on that. So I really want to be able to put that together for people so I can really start working with people one-on-one directly with what it is I know I can do for them to help them along the way.
We have some latecomers wondering who did it. It was Michael from
Michael Garber. Mm-hmm.
Michael Garber from Transform Motion.
Yes,
Did I get it right?
Transform Motion. Please look them up.
On YouTube here and on
Yeah,
Facebook, right?
yeah, yeah. And his services. They have a website, and you can go on their website and you can take a look at the different things that they do provide, the work that they can help you with. And I can't recommend him enough. He's wonderful. He's absolutely wonderful.
A couple of things that came to mind. Well, one for me was the way the serpent many times will represent knowledge, but someone in the chat was saying, was talking about the Kundalini energy being coiled at the spine and how that could
Yes,
also be representative of a serpent as well.
that's exactly. Yes, thank you. I should be more specific. That's exactly what I feel it is, and that rearing up of the cobra head, which is what I saw, to me, that was the uncoiling. All right, that was the uncoiling of that energy. I think a lot of us are starting to feel that too, this uncoiling. I mean, it does go through the bowels, like it all kind of ties in, but there is this uncoiling of the energy of and a recognition of each other. So it was presenting itself to me, that energy, and there was a recognition, and there was an acceptance, and there was a merging involved in that. So it really, the visual experience was this uncoiling of this sort of cobra thing coming up. And you know what it reminded me of too is Buddha under the tree, and he's got the cobra above his head, sheltering him from the weather. There was something tied that for me as well. But that's definitely what I think it is. And so I would be curious to see if anybody else is picking up on those, because I definitely think it's symbolism for the Kundalini awakening.
And thank you to Lori for posting and pasting into the chat window Michael's YouTube channel. So please feel free to click that link there. And if you guys are watching later on, you can check the chat on the site, and it's got the link there to go to. Actually, it's not his YouTube channel. It's his website, perfect.org.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. And he's also on Facebook as well.
Mm-hmm. And he puts out great information. Probably there. Are all on his site, I would think.
Yeah.
So if you want to get to everything else, you could probably just go to his website and find his Facebook and his YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So awesome.
Yeah, and he does on his YouTube site. He posts a lot of his sessions as well. So we'll be going. Mine will be posted with him. We're just talking about how much of it really. And at first, before I had it done, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'd post the whole thing." I'm open. But after, it was a lot for me to take in, and yeah, it was very it was very personal. To just throw it all out there all at once, I still feel I have to digest a lot of it first.
Oh sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm trying to get. I don't think that's actually his. Let's see, transformation. I think that's a different Michael Garber. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is it because I remember this really cool looking logo here. Yeah, I think that's the wrong Michael Garber's. Yeah, this is definitely it. I'll paste this into the chat. Um, okay. So I'm going to paste. This is his YouTube channel. You can check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Is that my? Okay, that's coming through there. So
Head's
definitely don't.
buzzing. My
Oh,
head's
well,
buzzing like crazy. I'm wondering if Scott just joined the chat.
that's.
I
There we
got
go.
my Scott Spidey senses tingling right now.
Scott Light Warrior Craig.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to forget to do the group meditation today either.
Yeah, no, gotta
I
do,
mean,
especially now that I'm supercharged, guys. Woo!
yeah,
So, and I
definitely. And
definitely
I'm
have a lot more confidence that, that my voice and my words do transmit the energy and activations. So that's really great news for me too. I mean, I always felt that way, but it was very specific, and it comes from the Archangel Michael sword energy that cuts away things that bind or hold you back, and yeah, so I'm really excited to explore that more and then really be able to start sharing one-on-one sessions with people.
yeah, that's really cool. And if you've been hanging
Hmm.
with Jesus, I think that's
He
even
gave me a
better.
gift.
He's always hanging with us. You know what? That's so funny because
That's what he said. That's what
when
he said.
when you had that session, because I had kind of drifted away from, when I drifted away from Christianity, I drifted away from Jesus for a while because I began to think, this is just some Superman type character of the first century, that he
Right.
was made up. Maybe he wasn't even real. And as soon as you stop believing and he leaves you alone, he doesn't force you to believe. But
Yeah.
when the whole Mandela effect thing started happening, and I was out on this hill overlooking the city down there and like really thinking about this whole thing. And I was like, Jesus, is this you? And I felt like these tingles come over me, just the simple asking if he was there and if that was him and if he's a part of this whole thing. And I was filled with tingles like you wouldn't
Whoosh.
believe. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
it just poured over me. And I was like,
Yeah.
and then at that moment I realized that Jesus had been there with me the whole time.
Whole
You know
time.
what I mean?
And then
The
you
whole
start to
time.
weep.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
Yeah,
I'm
which I
starting to
did when I
cry on
saw,
this.
yeah, when I saw Jesus too in the hypnosis. Well, there was a few sessions where I just started weeping, but yeah, when I saw Jesus, I did. I just started to weep because of the beauty and the love, and yeah, it wasn't that I even could, it wasn't that I was like looking right into his face. It was just this experience, but it definitely made me weep. And then the energy of the gift of him giving this gift of activation and everything was so something else that it just cannot be denied. It just cannot be denied. So it was a very special experience. It really was. Not every day you get Jesus giving you a gift.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but
So
it almost reminds me of there was a painting. It was like a 2 feet. I guess there's footprints in the sand, but it goes down to one for a while, and
that's
people
right.
thought that Jesus left them for a
How
while.
did you
They're like,
leave me
no, no, no.
alone? I was
Right.
carrying you.
I was
I
carrying
was
you, and
carrying you.
yeah. So you've heard
Yeah,
that too.
that's
That's
beautiful. I
awesome.
have that. I have that on a plaque.
Okay.
And yeah, and it's something that I actually got just within the last 2 years because I
Wow.
was not, and it was gifted to me, and it means a lot. But I was not one to have those things before because I wasn't, raised religiously in church and everything. So, those things were corny to me before, but now, now it makes me cry.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, everything makes
It's
me cry.
it's so I cry about things that I didn't cry about as
Yeah,
a kid, man. It's like
I
I've
know.
turned
Because
into
we're
a
just
big
so
baby.
open. We're just so
Yeah,
open to love now and
yeah.
open to the receiving of it and being worthy of it and being able to give it. And it's just getting bigger and bigger. So your ability to weep with that joy and that love increases as well. So it's good to be open with it. It
Aloha
is.
Light is asking, please ask Michelle if she has ever studied Crowley's Thoth Tarot deck.
Crowley's Tarot. Um, I have read. I know I've read some of that. I think it's in one of my books.
In my opinion, this deck is the world's best kept secret. So maybe something to look into.
Yeah, I'm trying to think
Thank
of.
you,
Oh,
Willie.
I just moved all my stuff into another drawer. I'd have it right now. Um, but you know what? That's really funny actually that you brought that up. So I got so after the session, and I got some new bedroom furniture. So I'd be moving everything around, and I had more drawer space in my room. So the place I had my tarot cards before, I made a new space for on a nice new drawer, and I go to pick them up to move them, and zap! So I have three different decks, and one of the decks wasn't complete, but I have them all wrapped in silk scarves, and I could not remember which was which. But when picking up the deck, I could tell you which was which, because the one that was missing a card or incomplete did not give me that much of a charge. The one that I used the most gave me a really good charge, but then there was one that I have not used as much, which gave me a really big zap. So I'm thinking this is the deck I need to move towards now. So it's interesting. Yeah. So I just made me remember that I literally physically felt that electric shock when picking up my tarot cards again.
I think
So
these
yeah,
energies are going to become more and more apparent to us because I
there's no
think it's
denying it.
something we've always experienced. I mean, you can have like a couple of people have an argument in a room and it get really heated, and then they're gone. And then you come home and you go into that room, they're not even there anymore. Yet they left this thick energy in the room where they had all this arguing going on, and you're like, "What? What's the deal with this?" Or you'll feel a cold sensation or a loving sensation. You can feel these,
Yeah,
ambient energies, and that seems like it's amping up, or at least our
that's the
awareness
thing.
of
Well,
it.
that's the thing though, Shane, is that so there's the awareness, but then there's an actual physical response now that cannot be denied. And that's what I think is it. Yes, you'd walk into the room before and you could feel it, you could, and maybe you'd get goosebumps or maybe you'd get like one sort of feeling, but maybe you get a tightness in your chest or once, but the experiences that are happening physically now are so much more all encompassing. They are distracting. They can be overwhelming. It is what I'm noticing for me now, and what I expect. I think that with the activations, um, and the more energy that people are able to take in and opening, you will experience these physical reactions stronger and stronger. It's not just one thing, and that's where I'm finding it's really escalating. First you feel like awareness or tingly or this or that, and then it was starting to feel sort of multiple buzzy things going on, and now I'm getting jolts. Now I'm getting zap, different things going on, and or visually how I'm seeing things. That was another weird thing. When I came to, my eye was cold. There was a spot on my eye that was completely cold. So I felt like something had been done there as well to my vision, maybe because I am seeing more energy now as well too. The sensations are everywhere. So it's not just one thing. It's like your whole body starts to respond, react, and give you information on what's going on.
That's true.
Hmm.
144 people in here this morning.
And that is, tell me, that is off the hook. The
Yeah.
numbers now are constant, and I am receiving that information from everybody that writes in, and it's just getting faster and faster. And I think I'm seeing it's like this: the time is getting quicker, the synchronicities are getting quicker, everything's the overlapping is getting quicker, so that we're like getting in this now moment faster and faster. My
It's,
memory is shot to hell. Like I cannot tell you if I did that 5 minutes ago this morning or 2 days ago. I don't know. Like and I am not the only one that's going through that. Either knowing about the event or not. I'm hearing it from people.
you know,
So the memory's going. Hmm.
One thing that sort of goes along with that same line of, well, to me, it seems like it anyway, is a lot of times I'll just go outside and instead of actually, close my eyes and meditate, I try to just look around at nature and be in the moment, like
Breathe it
right in the
in.
moment, and a lot of times I'll just use sound, like just paying attention to the sounds that's going around and just looking
Yep.
at the trees and things like that. But lately,
Yep.
it's felt so dreamlike or dreamy like that it's hard to stay in the moment. It seems so unreal. I don't even, it's surreal, I think might
Are
be.
you feeling it physically inside of you as well, the buzzing or vibration? Are you feeling different sensations as far as, so I find that my internal perspective, sort of this internal viewpoint I have when going into meditation, has been gradually dropping lower, lower, and lower, lower, right? Where
Mhm.
I'm really starting to sit back within my own presence and really be viewing actually what's coming through. It's almost like I'm viewing if I turn from the base of the skull going up and out. So my viewpoint is like I'm settling back down into the heart throat chakra area and merging back, and that's been a different experience. And my body, the resonance that's going through is very immersive when in getting to that state, and that state is coming in quicker, and it is very sensational. It really is a sensational experience. There's a real depth to that resonance now. A real oh, I love this word. Was it Leanna that used this? The volumicity. Like instead of just voluptuous, there's a really a volume to the voluptuous, in how this energy is expressing itself, both by sound and pitch and resonance and vibration that we're feeling. The volume is getting turned up and it's getting thicker and it's getting louder. I really see that.
That's definitely true. Okay, so I definitely do want to fit a meditation in today,
Mm-hmm.
and looks like we got about 5 minutes left. I actually I'm going to be on Talk is Cheap with Dan, and we're
Oh,
gonna it's going to be a pre-recorded episode, so I've got that to go do right after this.
I like
So
that guy. I like
yeah,
that guy.
yeah, I
He's
love
a
Dan.
great
He's cool.
chatter. I would love to chat with him someday. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like him.
he's
Easy
awesome.
going.
I'll put a good
Yeah.
word in for you.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. Tell him all about me.
I'm sure he knows.
I'm sure I could do that myself.
Yeah, he's a great guy. We're going to be talking Mandela
Yeah.
Effect and
Yeah. I
the
always get the
event.
sense of that, with him. He's easy going to talk to like you are. So I always
Yeah.
felt he'd be a good chat to have. Yeah. Well, that'll be fun for you. I'll be watching that for sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm not sure
so
when I have it ready, but yeah, let's do this.
let's get comfortable and let's think here.
So
All
it's
right,
let's medicate. I mean,
let's
meditate.
medicate. let's meditate with Michelle.
Spiritual medication.
Spiritual medication with Michelle.
Yeah.
That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
I'll be your new pharmacist. Spiritual pharmacist.
Spark up the spiritual J.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All
Puffing on
right.
the spirit. Okay.
Okay, guys, just give me a minute to go in the zone. Okay, so as we all settle in, sitting back lightly on our tailbone, and can start to feel the energy just going through you up the spine. Just make sure you bring in that nice light white energy. Start that flowing through you. And then just take a moment to just breathe and let that fill up all your being, getting thicker and fuller with each breath. As you breathe in, the volume increases. As you breathe out, the thoughts fade away. As you breathe in, the energy gets thicker. As you breathe out, all thoughts flow away. Start to feel that thick white energy now, grounding down deep into our new Gaia. Like a peg, deeper and deeper it goes to securely tie itself into the beautiful new earth that you have created in your mind and in your heart. So as you feel yourself securely tied in to that new vibrant energy, gently start to reach out tendrils of your beautiful white light to those here now and here later, meditating in this energy, in this moment in time, no matter what time it comes. Tying in with each other in joy, in happiness, in welcome, in gratitude, and in love. Reach out all your tendrils to each other to share this experience and make it stronger. Breathe that in and let it grow. Increase the volume. Release all negativity and thoughts. Increase the volume and hold hands tighter and tighter, thicker and thicker. So as you now feel yourself tightly enmeshed with the beautiful energy of those around you, pull once again your consciousness, though still tied in, pull it back to your heart. Feel your energy spread out and tied in, but now you're building your own energy again inside of your heart. Picture a rainbow ball of light. Picture it as the Christ consciousness energy, now filling that rainbow with gold, shimmering, white energy and light, making all those colors shimmer and grow. As you breathe in, the ball expands. As you breathe in, the ball expands. As you breathe out, it grows stronger. So breathe in and then grow it stronger. I want you to keep growing this ball outside of your own form, with each breath larger and larger and stronger until you start to feel it touch the other balls of energy of rainbow and gold Christ consciousness energy. You start to touch them gently like bubbles. Now those bubbles merge together one by one, creating a larger and larger bubble. As your energy merges with one another, your consciousness and your intention for this meditation grows together in strength and in power and in unison. Continue to grow this light amongst each other, bigger and brighter, until it is one ball surrounding the earth, growing higher and higher, inflating more and more, thicker and stronger to this energy, till it reaches the atmosphere. With our last few breaths, the energy now is so big, so tight, so strong that you feel it's going to burst. One last breath, and it bursts forth all the dreams, all the energies, all our hopes, all of our collective consciousness for this new vision, for this new earth, for the energy we want to receive, for the activations we want to receive, for the growth that we want to receive, for the love that we want to receive. Let it all now shower down all upon us, tingling, activating, and igniting as it touches down around us. So away washes the old 3D with all this energy. See it washing away all the old constructs. And as it erases all of the old, Below it is shiny and new and vibrant, all the experiences and all the beauty that you will see on the new earth. Now, as we take our last few breaths together, breathe in all this newness together as one. Pull in one last gratitude hug together, tightness, thankfulness for what we have shared, for the work that we do together. Thank you for the love of the God source energy and the Christ consciousness energy that is activating everything for our hopes and dreams. And again, thank you to all. Amen.
Amen. And
Ooh.
unity and love and respect for everyone.
Whew.
Wonderful.
Wow. Wow.
Love to usher in that new earth.
Woozy woozy. So with this time and sharing my email, I love all the stories, and please keep sending them on your experiences of the energies. So I can keep putting these, videos together to give affirmations to others and see all the tie-ins that are happening. But I'm also open to your questions. So if there is a question that you would like me to respond to on my channel, let me know specifically. And make sure that it is a question you don't mind sharing. If you want to leave your name out of it and leave it anonymous, that's fine too. Let me know, and I will be giving intuitive responses to the questions I receive. And I would like to start doing that with the videos as well. So please feel free to email me at wolfe.art101@gmail.com, which is wolfe.art101@gmail.com. And I would love to hear from you. And again, I will be responding to the rest of the ones that I haven't finished yet in response. I will be getting to you guys really soon. So all my love and thanks for all the support that you've given me.
Alrighty, I'll type it in there. And you'll have to add the gmail.com behind the end of it so that the bots don't pick it up as as an email address and spam the heck out of her.
Yeah.
Wolfe.art101 at gmail.com. And thank you so much for being here. I can't wait for next Tuesday.
Yeah, I will have a lot more to share, I think, after the next few days. So
you'll probably have to go over the whole thing again, huh?
We'll have more details. Yeah, but I think that we will be experiencing quite a bit now. It is the 15th today, so I did anticipate things really picking up. So please share if you have any interesting dreams I think you guys will be receiving, visions or experiences that I think a lot of people will be having. Please let me know so I can share and affirm all those others out there that are going through this as well. It really helps. So I think if you've experienced that help yourself from listening to affirmations from others, please share because it helps so many.
Yes, please do share. And thank you all in the chat for being here. Lots of love and lights, all of you guys. And until the next time, have a good one.
Peace, love, and happiness.
Yes, peace, love, and happiness, and unity.
Thank you.
Peace. Thanks, Michelle. Bye-bye.